good.
I think we're going to be playing a game called
There we go.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Simply Spooky on a Wednesday evening. As you can see, we have Eric with us, but we also have the wonderful Mr. Jonathon Downes with us this evening. Welcome, Jonathan. Thank you for joining us again.
Good evening, everybody. How are you?
We're all doing good. Yourself?
Well, I've got a big question for you all.
Where's Vivian?
Where is Vivian?
Well, do you know what? This might be a first, because before we even came on, there were 4 people in the chat. And we have a problem getting one person when we're 10 minutes into a video. So I think that people have obviously, they've got your names drizzled down. People have got wind of it, so they've all come on to see you. And also, I think one of those people might be Vivian. And if it is Vivian in the chat or looking, get your ass in the actual room.
Well, one of them's actually
we need
me.
you to talk. Sorry, Eric?
One of them's actually me. And
one of them's you. That's right. It's 3 down to 3. One of them's Rita, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Yes.
One of them's my wife. And I sent the link.
Hello, Rita. How are you doing? Well,
we haven't got 4 people in the thing. We've got Eric's wife and 2 others.
Yes. I'm guessing one's probably Viv.
And I sent the link to your messenger, Jonathan.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
There you go. Is that easily distributed, Eric?
I think
well, to the people I know, and then Vivian usually does it to whoever groups that she's on.
She does.
Oh,
hi,
hey, Tim.
Tim says it's good to see you, Jonathan.
Hi.
Good, mate.
Hang on, I'm just sending out the notification.
Don't worry, you're fine. You're fine. So this evening we're going to be going down a wonderful, weird track of cryptozoology amongst the various few other things. One of them will be we're going to enjoy watching Jonathan take the piss out of Viv if she has them. So we're looking forward to that as well.
That is
exactly.
Yeah, come on, Viv.
Viv, come on. Well, anyway, we've got Tim and Rita in there, and who else have we got? Oh, excellent. Glad to hear it, Rita. Glad you're doing fine. Wonderful news. Wonderful news.
Well, you're here, Rita, but where's Viv?
I know. Didn't show up to her own show. What a palaver.
Yes,
Never mind. We can whack through it until she arrives.
Chicks, huh?
She'll probably arrive 58 minutes up.
Probably.
That's when she'll arrive, just near the death of the show, right near the end of it. So how's the week been for you, Eric?
Slow,
eh?
good.
As good as that.
Yeah.
Slow's good, man. Slow's good.
Well, I was going to give up on making my rim pods until yesterday, and then something really great happened, so now I'm going to continue doing it. Good.
Well, I'm glad that something great happened. That's fantastic. If anything to stop you from being squirreling away and working, it should be something that's good happening. So you still, that's like proper little cottage industry you got going there now with the making of the paranormal equipment. How are you doing with it? Oh, Eric's frozen.
Going slow. Somebody. No, I'm not.
No, you're
Am I
unfrozen.
frozen? Okay.
But Eric, with all the equipment you make, have you got a Vivian detector?
No, I don't.
I don't believe in Vivians. I don't believe them anymore. I used to, but I've not seen one for so long. I think they've become extinct.
Mm-hmm. But I did make a waterproof one.
What a
waterproof Vivian?
Vivian?
No, waterproof REM pod.
In the shape of Vivian.
Yeah, sure. Oh, in the shape of a pickle, actually.
Shape of a what?
A pickle.
Oh, brilliant! You know that is right. I'm going to buy one of those off you. You know that is that's my spirit animal, isn't it? A pickle. That's what I go for.
Hang on, what's in the shape of a pickle?
My REM pod.
REM pods.
Okay, forgive me for being a silly old fool. What's a REM?
Not at all.
A REM pod is a device that creates its own field, and when something breaks that field, it sets it off.
So we could put one around this show, and it should be set off when Vivian bothers.
Exactly, a Vivian pod. We can call it a Vivian pod.
One of my. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on, bub.
Well, Dan has one of my skull ones, and Vivian has one of my skull ones, and a lot of other people do.
Yes, we've all
made
got
one now in the shape of a pickle.
And one like a pickle. You better have one like a pickle. You better be like a pickle. I'll be disappointed if it's not like a pickle.
Well, it's not like a pickle, but it's waterproof and it's in the shape of one.
Well, that's cool. That's all you need. I can paint it green like a pickle, or you can paint it green like a pickle.
Hey, William.
Hello, Mr. Southey. I hope you're doing well. You and your good lady wife. I hope everything's going fine for you. So, Jonathan, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay. Hi, Tim.
Oh, we've got a question for you, Tim. How's Wolseley, Jonathan? I don't half miss it. Happy days.
Yes, it's very nice. It's a lovely little village. I've lived here on and off for 53 years. And
wow.
Although, sadly, it looks like I'm probably going to have to move fairly soon, which will be a bit of a bummer. But it's a lovely place.
And it can't be fixed, or?
I'm in the middle of a long, complicated battle with my mortgage provider.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I was told when I took out the mortgage that, yes, it'd be no problem when it ran out to me having a lifetime mortgage. But it turns out that the government has changed the rules.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Luckily, I still own a house. I still own a house in Exeter. I can go back.
Oh, okay.
You think that they would be, you think the government would be decent, but whether the government had been decent, but you would think they would honour previous standing arrangements, wouldn't you?
Excuse me, Dan. This government, 14 years of this government, you cannot use the word honour in the same.
That is true.
As this government.
That is very true. If anything has taught us that there's no honour, it is the last 14 years, in fact.
Gosh. And I promised myself I wasn't going to get into politics tonight. This is all Daniel's fault.
I know. Is it? You're not as much politics as life. Politics is everything's politics, isn't it? Unfortunately, everything. You can't fart without politics coming into it.
And let's face it, tomorrow is going to be such a amazing spectator sport. I always find British party politics the best ever spectator sport.
It's hilarious. It shouldn't be, but it is.
Oh, I'm going to be up all night waiting for the results, even though we know who's going to win.
Exactly. It's a foregone conclusion. Thanks, Rita. It's got me. Got a whippet on it. Brilliant.
Oh, that's nice.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
She didn't notice mine.
I love that one. I'm going to get one of those, actually. That's superb. The Unibomber.
That's going to get me cancelled, or you cancelled, or something.
You know what?
I've
got nothing to be cancelled for, Jonathan. They can crack away if they want. Vote Pedro.
Yeah.
Who's Pedro?
From I can't remember the name of the movie now, but I know what movie he's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what's the name of the movie? I only saw it once. working. But then,
I know a guy called Pedro. I think he's the guitarist with what's the damn band?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite. Great film. Very funny.
I have to admit, I've never seen it, so
it's very funny.
It's vaguely on my list of things I've meant to see.
It's more of a cult film now, I think, isn't it? It's become a cult film.
Pretty much.
It's really good. But yeah. And still, we're 10 minutes in, guys, and still no sign of young Vivian. So I don't know what on earth is going on with her. She must be having a real in-depth chat. She must be telling them off. She takes more than 10 minutes when she tells people off. That's how you know she's telling them off.
Well, I don't think she's telling them off. I think she's setting up something, but I can't say it because I don't know.
No, I know. I think she is in the throes of setting up a chat with them and maybe doing something else along the lines. There she is.
Oh, there she is.
Where have you been?
Bloody stop out.
Jonathan did intimate you can't wait for you to get on so you can take the piss.
Well, I've been helping people in need.
Really?
Yeah.
What, in need of a slap?
No.
Well, the sort of people who say, I think everything in life happens for a reason. Yeah, the reason is you're stupid and you make idiotic decisions.
Sounds like 90% of the people I've come across in my life.
Yes, me too. But yes, Vivian, what is your excuse?
I've been helping some people in need.
Yeah, you said that. What's the actual in need? Cut to the chase.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I was helping Ian and Bri.
Yeah.
And Bri doesn't need one either.
No, they're starting a new show on Friday, and we're trying.
Oh, exciting times!
Yeah, so new show coming on Friday, but they needed help with StreamYards, which I haven't been able to sort out because I'm not techno-minded. So I am going to need Eric after the show if he's available.
Yeah, I'm always available.
Well, I don't think he is. He's Eric's agent.
Can you be my agent?
Well, it's a conflict of interest. Which of you will pay me more?
I will give Archibald the best cuddles.
I would have preferred you to say you were going to bribe me with cake. But...
I can't bake.
Oh, for God's sake.
Do you want me to try and bake you a banana bread cake? Ooh. A banana cake?
I love banana cake.
Well, I'm not very good at it. I'm trying. But I can try and make one and give it to him at the conference.
At the conference?
Sorry, my iPad's being stupid.
So I can give it to you at the conference.
I look forward to it, my sweet.
And you can mark it out of 10.
I'm sure it will be delicious.
Well, you don't know yet because you haven't tasted my baking. It's terrible.
It's all gone quiet.
Yes.
Hi, Nettie. Hope you're doing well.
Hi, Annette. Now Viv's arrived. Where the hell's Viv jokes? I
was going to say I wouldn't bother taking Viv on because you can't guarantee that she's going to turn up for shows on time.
Nice one.
Hey up, Bri. Hey up, Bri. I'm surprised you're here tonight, Bri. I thought it might be trouble at Mill.
Well, it was trouble at Mill because I was helping Bri.
That's the trouble that was caused.
Happen it was.
Right, I'm going to ask Jonathan a question. I've come in prepared.
It wasn't me, I promise.
I just like you telling everybody. I didn't do it.
I never met the girl.
So, without naming names and without naming the place, you recently did an investigation and some things happened.
Yeah, I don't mind naming the place.
Go on then. It's totally up to you.
I don't mind naming the place because I'm just about to on a show with one of my shows I haven't edited yet. Hang on, who's calling Ian a Scottish now on?
My wife. She's calling him Scottish from now on because somebody called him English all the time. And he's actually Scottish. So.
Oh God, you can't call a Scottish person English.
I thought that it was. I thought here Bride said trying to set the show up Friday, but I think he means trying to set the show up Friday.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm thinking who's Trana? It's a posh name, exotic.
It's quite a nice, it's quite a pretty name.
It's exotic.
It is.
He's being posh.
He is being posh. So the question you asked me, what was it?
Sorry, I got completely sidetracked thinking Trana was a really pretty name.
Good name, Trana.
Because one of my nephews has got his second daughter being born in November, and I was going to suggest Trana.
Trana's cool.
I think it's a pretty name.
I like the name. I like the name Valeria.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty name.
Valeria.
Valeria. Yeah.
Is that like an old-fashioned name? Isn't it? Is that from Valeria?
It's from the House of the Dragon. Valeria.
Oh, okay.
From Valeria.
Way.
Oh, Archie.
She's cute, Winnie. Archie, cute.
Archie. No, he's got into bed now.
Oh, is he? Okay.
He's
making himself a little nest.
That's him for the night then.
No, when he'll make a nest and he'll rush up and downstairs, see what the cats are doing, and knock on Graham's door to see if there are any biscuits, and he'll come back and make another nest.
He's got his night planned out then. He's got better evenings entertainment than I have.
So come on Saturday you had some experiences.
Well, it was fairly strange. Those of you who've been following, I don't know how many of you watch. Am I allowed to plug my show?
Yes, you can.
I don't know how many of you watch my show On the Track, which comes out every Saturday afternoon at 3 and every Wednesday evening at 6:30. But a few months ago,
what happened?
Oh, she's disappeared again.
Of course she has.
No, I'm still here.
Where the bloody hell did you get to that?
I tried to type On the Track.
Hello. Here we up here. Hello.
Oh, aren't you gorgeous?
Come here.
I know I am.
One there.
I know I am. I'm very gorgeous.
You are, of course, you're gorgeous. That's why I was hoping you had a slutty aunt, because
I have got a slutty aunt.
On the Track. I gotta find that.
I'm looking forward.
Both of them. Got another one downstairs.
That's familiar. That's right. I think he's calling you a witch, Dan.
Oh, I've got 3 familiars at the moment.
How many people have we got there then? How many people are watching?
7 at the moment.
Yep. That's pretty good, isn't it?
I need to share it out, to be fair. I haven't shared it out.
I know, look how well we've done. It must be, I said, Jonathan's name must have lured them in.
I think they did.
Oh, doggy whip it.
I've let it out through the UK BRT sites things.
Oh, excellent.
And hang on, I better put it on my Facebook page as well, I think. But anyway, so I'm burbling. Hold on. Be back in a second before I answer your question.
Don't worry, you're fine.
We've been going 20 minutes and not actually said anything of any importance.
We're still waiting to hear the answer to the question.
Yes.
I'm going to see if I can make dear sweet Vivian wait for the show. See, I haven't got a link. Can you put a link on my Facebook page, Sweetie Pie?
I can.
Because I can't for some reason. It won't do it. And I'm not sure why.
Let me go onto your page, share. Ooh. Copy link. Hey, talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, well, mid-yawn.
Okay, what the hell's that? Goodness me. I don't want to post anonymously.
They're all doing hellos and A-ups there in the chat at the moment. Oh, dear and butting why they're doing that.
Hey up, our kids.
Hey up, our kid.
I've posted it to your wall, Jonathan.
Thank you, my love. Okay, anybody who's watching? Okay, I was just about to tell everybody. I was just stupid then. I was going to say, anybody watching my wall, come and join us here, but they wouldn't see it. So I'm talking nonsense. Back to Sunday. Anybody who's seen my show over the last 6 months will, I hope, remember that I had a guest one week called Ziggy Austin, who is a science teacher from Torbay in South Devon, and he was out leading a group of people exploring the coastline when on the coast path he found footprints about 16 inches long, otherwise human, but long, elongated and 16 inches long. Some people come out immediately and said, "It's Bigfoot!" Other people came out immediately and said, "It's a hoax!" One person who shall not be named, but is very famous, took one look at it and said, "It's not Bigfoot," but wouldn't explain why. So, whilst I don't actually believe in any unknown flesh and blood higher primates living undiscovered in the English countryside, I've seen one of them, so I know that these things actually exist. So I took a team there on Saturday with the main... On Sunday, that's you confusing me, Vivian.
Oh,
on
sorry.
Sunday, with the main intention of checking this out further. We've put up trail cams. We've put up 3 trail cams. And
Whippet fan.
No. Are they not men? No, they are whippets.
They are whippets, exactly.
That's a good Devo reference, isn't it? I've got a mate of mine, one of my best investigators, is completely and utterly besotted with Devo. And he writes editorials under the name Dr. Devo. So, anyway, where am I? Yeah,
is that the fellow who's got the hat?
Yeah, I bought him the hat. I once spent my whole publicity budget for one of my conferences, the Weird Weekend, shipping one of these exorbitantly expensive and stupid bloody hats all the way to America. I spent more money on that than I actually did on any of the other people. I tell you what, Mr. Dan, Mr. Dogman, can you share screens? Can you put up a picture of the Devo hat so everybody knows what we're talking about? Or
can Vivian do that?
What's a Devo hat? Hang on, where do I get a picture of that from?
Just type in Devo hat, D-E-V-O hat, and if it's red and plastic and looks like a weird ziggurat, then it's the right thing. But as we're talking about Devo hats, I think we probably need to go on to the subject.
It's quite the sartorial elegance.
Yeah, it's far more interesting than the idea of Bigfoot living in Torbay. But going back, we put up 3 trail cams and we put them up in a triangular formation, which is something we first tried on one of the expeditions to Tasmania. Because if you have them just about within each other's field of view, you can get more than one picture of the same animal if it's walking through. You can get an idea of its gait, and you can get out. Yay!
There you
go. Hat. Well done, Vivian, my darling. And my friend Richard Muirhead has one of those Devo hats because I bought it for him.
It looks like a jelly mould.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what my late wife used to say. He said it looked absolutely ridiculous, and it was just like a jelly roll. And why on earth did I spend 54 quid on them?
What?
Yeah. I was going to say they're either very expensive or they're very popular because there aren't any available.
No. And I spent 54 quid, including postage, on a stupid hat for my friend Richard.
Some would say it was money well spent.
Yeah, I think so. I think
somebody enjoys it.
I think it gives you some sort of idea of what the CSZ are all about. Anyway, we put these 3 cameras up so they're just within each other's field of vision. So if we catch something, we will catch its gait and we'll be able to learn more about its behavior. However, the big thing I want to stress here, now, and publicly, I think we have got no chance whatsoever of capturing a Bigfoot on those pictures. What I'm actually wanting to do is to find out whether the animals that are supposed to be in a wood in South Devon are supposed to be there. Because you would expect to find at least one, probably 2 species of deer. Will be roe deer and probably muntjac. You would expect to find foxes. You would expect to find rabbits, and you'd expect to find at least 1 badger. And you'd probably find pheasants. If all of those animals which are there, are meant to be there, are there, that is one big point against there being a large predator having just arrived in the district. Now, we've got an investigation going on at the moment in London, Ontario, and there have been sightings of a Sasquatch creature, and there have been people have heard the whoop sound, and people have hi Chantal, and people have had things thrown at them. And people have, and there's been a lot of supporting evidence, something's there, and the trail cams have caught absolutely bug all, not a sausage. All the animals that are usually in that meadow have gone, which I find fascinating. So, Dave, the guy who's running the Canadian experiment, is going about half a mile down the road to another meadow, which looks almost identical to this one, and they're setting up the trail cams there. And if we find, well, whatever happens, if we find there's no animals there either, then, to misquote Bob Dylan, something is happening, but you don't know what it is, do you, Mr. Downes? And if there are animals in the second meadow, but none in the first, then something, it would appear, has scared them off.
Yeah.
And there are supposed to be deer, badgers, foxes, both grey and red, skunks, also, and a whole, I don't know what to call the collective noun of the family of wild turkeys. But apparently the wild turkeys are so tame, they come up to the fence on the border of this field, which looks like one of those fences you had around a tennis court, and they come up and beg for scraps. But there's nothing there. And that I find absolutely bloody fascinating. Even the owl, because there's a great grey owl that lives in one of the trees there, and you hear him hoot each night, even he's buggered off.
Oh.
So something has happened, and we don't know what it is. But this is the first step of my testing to see. I'm going to do this eventually all along the coast path, and we're going to find out if it all depends. If the place we have investigated this time, there are plenty of animals, then job done. There's nothing scaring them away. If they have been scared away, we're going to try and find out where they've gone.
Yeah.
Now, we also mapped the place using compasses and using an EMF meter. Now, I can't remember what I said last time because I spent my last time I was here, I just talked nonsense most of the time, trying to wind up Vivian, dear girl. Because Vivian's a sweetie pie. She lets me behave really badly.
Yeah. Do what you want.
Vivian, you shouldn't say that, love. Vivian, did I talk about my experience up in Northumberland where I did see what I refused to call a Bigfoot?
Go on.
Did I talk about that? I can't remember.
No, you didn't know.
Let's do it. Hi,
Hi,
Mary. I need to speak to you, Mary, at some point. Sorry.
Now, first of all, I really don't like the name Bigfoot for things seen in Britain because I think they have absolutely nothing to do with whatever is seen by our transatlantic chums on the other side of the pond. So I propose to everybody it could really be called a woodrose, which is
Woodrose.
the traditional English name for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw a woodrose, and I don't believe in the bloody things. So we got this over the Christmas of 2002. There were a whole string of sightings of an ape-like creature up in a place called Bowlam Lake, which is about 40 miles north of Newcastle. And it's tiny. But we went up there for completely the wrong reasons. I've already explained to you with the affair of Richard Devo hat. I've explained why the CFZ modus operandi is not always the same as other people. But I have been told by a mate of mine from a local news agency that he had heard on the grapevine there was somebody in a monkey suit running up and down and jumping out of the woods at people in this place just north of Newcastle, and that this guy was one of the stringers from the local newspaper. And once he'd heard we were going to try and scare us by jumping out of the woods, and then he was one of the local stringers for. Now I can't remember whether it was the Sun, the News of the Screws, or the Daily Mirror, but it was one of the three fairly down market papers. And that's just for those of you not in England who need to be sort of. Yes, I have, Bri. I'll come back to you on that one. Anyway, we bought paintball guns and some rope because I thought that if there is somebody, let's say it was the Sun, I can't remember if it was or not, let's say it was from the Sun, if there was somebody from the Sun going to try and prank us, we were going to shoot him, cover him with paint, hog tie him, take him down to London and dump him, or still hog tied, on the front steps of the Daily Mirror offices. And I'd done a deal with the Daily Mirror that if that had happened, I'd have got a few £100, in fact. So we went up there expecting something like that going on. But a local guy had set us up a whole string of interviews with the sighting witnesses, and it was pretty obvious within the first couple that this wasn't a hoax. This was something genuine, and it was something particularly weird.
Wow.
I was already of the opinion, like I think I've already said, but I'm going to say it again. Right on, Ian. I'm sure you are going to be great friends. I agree with you totally. That the idea of a 8-foot tall higher primate, or rather a viable breeding colony of 8-foot tall higher primates of an unknown species living 40 miles from Newcastle city centre is so far beyond unlikely It's fucking impossible. Completely fucking ludicrous. But then again, these people kept on reporting. And I wish I'd get a cup of tea. No one brings me a cup. Now, completely lost what I was sort of thinking about because I was thinking about tea.
Ludicrous people.
Hazel's in the background looking like Bigfoot. Look, what's it?
Hi.
I'm going away, don't worry.
You don't have to go away. You can sit and keep Daniel under control.
Oh, I'm good.
I don't want to sit next to be honest. You can't tell it from here, but he hasn't had a shower for a week.
No, a week, about a month.
Yeah.
Have a lovely radio chat.
Thank you.
We're having a wonderful meeting, my dear. Now I'm completely confused what we were talking about.
So you said that it was
the chance of there being something flesh and blood living there is so small as to be negligible. And so I started to take these cases more seriously than I had done. Now, it so happened I was very stint at the time. Every man has their price, and mine is nowhere near as high as you might think. And I got paid 50 quid by the BBC Radio 4 Today programme to do a live broadcast at 7:30 in the morning, I think it was. It was just before dawn, anyway, to do a live broadcast from the Bowland Wood. And then, 22 years ago, I would have done anything for 50 quid. Nowadays, I'd probably do most things for 50 quid. If you want to send me private messages, you can contact me on Facebook with your offers. Yes, Vivian, something amusing you?
I'll put in an offer. I'm having these thoughts now, Jonathan, and you put them there.
No. I'm completely losing it today. Yeah, I got there about a quarter of an hour early, and it was that weird purpley half light that happens before the dawn in the middle of winter. And remember, this was middle of January, and there was a BBC guy there with a car, and with a tiny little car, and he'd set all these weird satellite dishes and things on the top of it, and it really looked like something out of Doctor Who back when it was good, and that means about 40 years ago. But no, longer, 45 years ago. But I couldn't work out whether what happened next actually happened or whether it was something to do with his ridiculous Heath Robinson setup of satellite dishes held on with string and gaffer tape. You wouldn't believe it. It was wonderful.
John.
Now, I don't know what they call the Dawn Chorus. And the Dawn Chorus, for those of you outside Britain who don't know the term, is what happens when a load of songbirds all start squawking away just before dawn. Well, this was underneath the biggest colony of rooks that I've ever seen. And it was more like a dawn squawkers. You wouldn't believe the noise they made. And you had this funny little guy from the BBC, they were squawking away going, "Oh, fucking hell, I hope this doesn't get in the way of my broadcast." And I forget, and he had this broad Birmingham accent, and he was tiny, and he had all this stuff super glued and gaffer taped to the roof of his car. And these crows and rooks were walking away like nobody's business, and suddenly, bang, it went completely quiet. And I heard this noise coming out of the woods, and it sounded like anybody over the age of 45 will probably know what I'm talking about, the amplified heartbeats at the beginning of Dark Side of the Moon.
Mhm.
Anybody younger, go back and listen to your K-pop albums. But it went boom, 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 boom. And it was a pattern. And it lasted for about half a minute. And this was really, it sounded like the heartbeat from the Pink Floyd record because it had the best reverb echo chamber you've ever heard in your life on it. It was enormous sound.
Wow.
And that lasted for about half a minute. And then that silence, and the crows, well, they started to squawk a bit, but nothing like before. I did my interview with the BBC, and I was very pissed off to find I'd have to invoice them and wait 6 weeks before they paid me. But then I got back in the hire car that had brought the limo taxi thing, brought me, and went back to where we'd been staying. And about 2 hours later, me and the gang was framing this to you. Some of you will know from various events of Daniel and Richard Freeman, who some of you will know because he is this weird bald goth Doctor Who freak that gets banned from Facebook.
Oh, that's classic. Sorry.
I love them both. I'm closer to them, but they're not friends. They're like my brothers. We're like old army buddies who've been in the same foxhole together on and off for 30 years plus. But with me, Richard Gray, and a guy, a half Ethiopian guy called John. Now, this is really mildly amusing. He doesn't work for me anymore, but I can still tell the story. His mum had been an art student in London in the early 60s. His father had been the naval attaché of the Imperial Ethiopian government to the court of St. James. And what happens when handsome black dude meets pretty art student in the swinging 60s?
They do
I'm
it.
sure you can guess what, that's a very polite way of putting it, my love. It's what happens when a mummy art student and a daddy Ethiopian diplomat love each other very much. And this guy was half Ethiopian. And I found out afterwards he was actually one of the great nephews of Emperor Haile Selassie. Now, any of you who know anything about Rastafarianism will know that according to Rastafarianism, Haile Selassie, the late lamented emperor of Ethiopia, is known as Jah Rastafari because he is counted as being a living god. Now he's dead, he's presumably a dead god, but he's a living god, which meant for about 2.5 years I had, by the way, all his relatives were also living gods. Which meant for about 2.5 years I had a living god make my coffee in the morning. And that was really one of the most far out things in my stupid life. But anyway, we all went back up to the woods and we met up with a bunch of people from, I don't know if any of you are watching, from the Twilight World's Paranormal Investigation Society of South Shields. And they were run by an old mate of mine, and a whole bunch of them volunteered to come be foot soldiers. So we went and did roughly the same sort of stuff as we did at the woods in Torbay last weekend. We mapped the area. We had a series of witnesses come through the day, and we did something that I stole off Crime Watch, and I still think it's a bloody good idea. You have the witness telling you their story and walking between the places that happened. I was standing here and it was over there, and we filmed it. And we did, I think, four 4 crime. I always call them crime watch videos that day. And well, I can't think of a better word for them. If anyone can think of a better word, answers on a postcard, please. To Vivian Powell's Magic.
Vivian and John.
And me.
No, this John.
Oh, hi, John the cat. I thought you were me for a second. Anyway, something strange started happening about halfway through the day. We found that every single bit of our electronic equipment packed up.
Wow.
Walkie-talkies, I had a load of spare batteries, thankfully. But walkie-talkies would last about 3 calls before going kaput. 2 laptop batteries died. The battery of one of the cars died. And all the mobile phone batteries died. And it turned out later, when I wanted to use that hand pocket torch thing, after dark, those had died as well. I had a hunt, and we then took the compasses that we had with us, and luckily one of the Twilight World people had an EMF meter, as all good paranormal people should have. I didn't even know what one was then, so I can't. What am I saying? Sorry, someone just sent me a message. And
Charles.
Hi, Charles. And we went over the area, and there were enormous magnetic fluctuations. We found out afterwards that there were veins of the magnetic iron ore called magnetite that crisscrossed that area.
Oh.
Yep. Now, I'll tell you what I saw afterwards. But for years, people in the paranormal field and people in the weirder shit area of 40 zoology have noted that there are magnetic anomalies when there are ghosts, monsters, even UFOs. My big question is, are they causing the magnetic anomalies, or are the magnetic anomalies triggering something within our brains that we are seeing?
You said that, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, if I've got my dates wrong, please interrupt and tell me. This is a preliminary hypothesis that Richard Freeman and I have. Richard was in Thailand in 2000, I think. And yes, I made all the ladyboy jokes when he came back. Well, one has to, doesn't he? He noticed when he was in Thailand that you had exactly the same mythological or mystery animals as you had in Britain, or their versions of it. In Britain, for example, we have, in Cornwall, you have mystery big cats, you have mystery black dogs, you have occasional sightings of mystery big hairy things, and you have the owl man. And you have dragon stories. That's 5 we're going on with. There are more. In Thailand, you have the Garuda, which is a flying man-beast thing. It's half man, half bird. You have a giant golden-coloured cat. Who's giving me...
Who's doing the balloons?
Who's doing the balloons?
Not me.
Not me.
I have no idea how that works.
Neither do I. I couldn't figure it out.
Me either.
Somebody's sending you balloons.
I don't know what that means.
How can you do that? That's really clever. Whoever it is, thank you very much and let me know. There's a giant golden cat, there's a Garuda. There are stories of a dragon called the Naga, which was what Richard was doing in Thailand at the time, making a show for Discovery Channel, I think it was. No, it was Animal Planet. There are stories of a Yeti-like creature. And there are stories of mystery, strange little dogs. So you've got the same creatures.
Yeah.
Now, you look at any other place in the world, you've got the same, what Richard called, global template of monsters.
Yeah.
And this really, really, really got us thinking. Okay, Archibald, I haven't got any food, Archie. You can come and sit down. Oh, dear boy, he's come to sit on me.
Aww.
He's cautious.
If you think of it, our brain is the most complicated computer that has ever existed.
Yeah.
And what happens with any computer, if you piss about with strong magnets near it, it reboots. And we wonder if somehow, in the same way as your computer will reboot to some really primitive version of BASIC before it shows up Windows or anything else, whether there is something hidden in what Carl Sagan calls our fossil memories.
I have this is scientific. This is not just me being facetious. Yeah, I used a big word. Women's brains work in a different way to a man's brains, and our brains are slightly larger than a man's. Proven fact.
Because you've got bigger heads.
Because we use it more than what a man does.
That's I'm sorry, I'm not staying on the show. I'm not going to stay on the show where some chick is going to be sexist.
But does this mean that women would see these creatures or have paranormal experiences or whatever more often than a male would? Or does it work on the flip side? Does it mean that the men will see more than...
I don't know. That's a very, very good question. And I don't know. I haven't looked into that. But I want to take you back now about I think, 4 million years. This is where Dan will correct me.
Hopefully.
To when the human race was a bunch of small hairy geezers running around on the plains of... Yes, Vivian?
I think the women were small hairy things as well back then.
Yes. Small hairy geezers running around on the plains of East Africa. And if you think of it, stop it, Ian, you're going to make me say something inappropriate. If you think about it, they would have been deadly frightened. There would have been certain things which would have scared the living shit out of them and which would have provoked the fight or flight mechanism. That would have been giant snake, big cat, wild dog, big hairy creatures who were their relatives who would come into their cave at night and steal their children. And the giant prehistoric birds of prey. Our theory is that under certain circumstances, the human brain, and I'm not going to, at the moment, I'm filing your query about male and female brains because I think it's a bloody interesting question. It's something we ought to investigate. And you're going to be writing out a big questionnaire we're going to send out to thousands of people.
Thanks.
Well, it's your idea.
We'll do it together.
You're a chick. You should be good at secretarial stuff.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to be racist, but there is actually, it's a fact that, how do you put it? Certain factors of the human race have bigger brains than other factors of the human race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that all ties into...
Yeah.
I think it's a very, very good question. And I would like to see what the responses are from people of all sorts of different ethnicities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it'd be good to get a breeding right across, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
questionnaire.
and also, God knows how we're going to do it, but you ought to try, because you know the genetic differences between the various peoples of Africa are far wider than the genetic differences the whole rest of the human race put.
Haven't the Chinese got something like a completely different genetic setup and blood? The blood, something to do with the blood as well. It's not. How do you say this? You don't want to sound insulting, but I can't really say it without sounding racist. But it's not. Apparently, it's a fact that certain blood types, Asian blood types, are not in step with the rest of the races on the planet.
Apparently, now this is now hearsay. I have tried to find it out. I have had people doing Freedom of Information Act requests in America, and I have found nothing. But I have been told that when American GIs were stationed during the Korean War, when they were based in Japan, that both in Japan and in Korea, when they utilized the services of the local ladies of the night, far less of them got pregnant than you would have imagined.
Really?
Now that is, and apparently the American Army did the American Army Medical Corps did an investigation into this. I believe it exists. I don't know what the answers are. I haven't read it and I haven't been able to get hold of it, because it's the sort of thing that some twat is going to make into a racist argument.
Yeah.
In the same way as I'm very interested in the theory that Homo erectus came out of Africa several different times. I think that's very interesting. However, a guy who I used to know, who is now far too involved in right-wing politics for me to know him really anymore, but he wrote this thing, and a load of people, a load of white supremacists then tried to say, because different races were descended from different exoduses of Homo erectus, that one race was senior to another, and one races were superior and inferior. That is hateful, fucking racist.
Yeah,
that's the problem. The thing is that you can't have honest science anymore because somebody wants to twist it to fit their own narrative.
Yeah,
and it's the same with the Nazi fascist thing, isn't it? Somebody, you take something that's a scientific difference, and you try and get to the bottom of it for scientific value, but you'll end up with somebody utilizing it, molding it for race baiting, and it's horrendous.
Absolutely.
Isn't there a thing where, right? So, word of mouth throughout the ages, the greatest lie ever told, the Bible. But I will give this some credence.
Is this where I
No, well, it mentions the cradle of life. The cradle of life
is this where I show
Ethiopia. Isn't it like they mention that it started in one of these African countries, in like Ethiopia?
Yeah.
That's where we all originate from.
They did blood tests, and they proved that Adam and Eve, so-called Adam and Eve, came from Africa, and that's where all humans come from.
But that's where the Garden of Eden is, don't they? Somewhere in Africa.
The last I heard, the most recent thing saying it was in Yemen, but
it was where? Sorry,
It was, I believe it was in Yemen, but
okay.
Yemen and the Horn of Africa are only a few miles apart. So
Yeah.
They keep changing their thing, because I heard of things like, I didn't give it much credit, to be honest with you. I should have looked into it more. I'm a bit annoyed I didn't. But they've come up with some idea now that create now, whether it's running in comparison with the African Ethiopian idea, I don't know. But they think that maybe it wasn't there. It wasn't just there. It was also somewhere in Eastern Europe. But they keep chopping and changing. I never looked into it, but I wish I had.
No, that's going to be one of those things that's going to run and run. And I knew Professor Brian Sykes, and he was a great professor. He did some bloody stupid things, and he's dead now. And I have to admit, I didn't like him very much, but I did respect him. He wrote a book called The Seven Daughters of Eve.
Right.
In which he postulated that everybody in Europe today is descended from one of 7 hominids from different European caves. He did, the bones are from different European caves, and went back to postulate what mitochondrial Eve.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the mitochondrial Eve would be somewhere, and I haven't read the book in years. I believe it was going to be somewhere in Namibia. In the mitochondrial Eve lived somewhere in Namibia in the Kalahari Desert. But anyway, we've got so far off course of the narrative.
That's me, sorry.
No, it wasn't you.
Sorry.
Vivian.
That's it, blame me.
Yeah, it turns up halfway.
I stand corrected, you're right.
Turns up halfway through the show and causes trouble.
Can I just show people something, everyone in the chat? If you
Not again.
Think about what you're saying.
I'm going to do something really good here. Really good. If you want a good read, this is available.
Oh, I got to write that down.
This is available on Amazon. Is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon. Oh, God.
So
I didn't set this up, guys.
And this as well, fantastic book.
Oh, yeah, that one I want to read.
Absolutely superb book. I think this is the 30th anniversary edition. It's a lovely, great book.
Yeah, that has one.
Both written by this man here below me. Next to Viv.
So just have a look. Just buy them, get them, and when you do eventually meet Jonathan, he might sign them if you slip him a couple of quid.
There you go.
You don't have to send me a couple of quid. Just introduce me to your slutty aunts. Bring me. Anyway.
Well, I don't have a slutty aunt, so I'll just have to pay you.
I'm just buying cake, Eric. Bring me over some American cake.
There's a picture of your friends there. Look, hang on.
That's Richard.
There you go.
He's trying to look mean and moody there.
He was trying to nurse. I took that photograph. He was trying to nurse a hangover.
Oh, fair enough.
He'd been off his feet.
But yeah, have a look for his book.
I will get to the Yeti in Cannock Chase, Bri, I promise. But there is actually an end game to this completely confusing narrative. So we believe, or rather the theory on which we are working at the moment, is that somehow sightings of animals that shouldn't be there. I'm not talking about animals that are perfectly normal flesh and blood animals that have escaped from the zoo or a private collection and are now breeding in the wild. That's something completely different. But all the stuff that's well within exile territory seems to be connected to electromagnetic fluctuations and geomagnetic fluctuations. They are two different things, but for fuck's sake, then ask me to explain why, because I don't understand and I don't care at this stage. And this is why on Sunday we were testing that area in the woods by the coast path to see if there were any electromagnetic or geomagnetic fluctuations. And guess what, kids?
You found some.
No, there weren't any.
No.
But dear Richard Monk, who's a very, very sweet man.
He is, yeah.
He pushed and pulled my wheelchair with me in it as far up the hill of this as we could get. And I thought he was just about to rupture himself. So I said, for Christ's sake, mate, just leave me here. And his girlfriend's son, who's 11, called Toby, him and I got on fine. And I tried to talk, I asked him then, is it because I've got the mentality of an 11-year-old or got the brain of a 65-year-old? And we agreed it was probably the former.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that?
We smelt this, and we were right in the middle of nowhere. There was a house about a quarter of a mile away, and there was nobody in sight. Suddenly, we smelt an overwhelming smell of candles. You know, the smell of candle wax when candles are burned.
Yeah.
Not the sort of poncy ones with flavours that my wife used to have in jars, but ordinary candles. And it was overwhelming. I've never smelled such a strong smell of candles. And we were about a quarter of a mile from the nearest house, and there was nobody in sight. So I sent Toby off, being in loco parentis. I wouldn't let him go out of sight, but I sent him off as far as I could see to see how far it was around that he could smell the candles. And he could smell them until about halfway up to the tree line.
Oh.
It's an overwhelming smell of candles. Now, I haven't been into Maidencombe Village. If there's anybody going to Torbay on holiday this summer, check out Maidencombe Village. Maybe they've got a candle factory. I have no idea. I haven't looked. I haven't even started to investigate this. But there's an absolutely overwhelming smell of candles. And then it disappeared. It disappeared as fast as it had come. It came on practically instantaneously and it went away practically instantaneously. Then we heard a wood knock.
Oh.
Now, again, I'm not claiming that a woodlock means there is a wood rose in them there woods.
No.
Or shall we do it in the style of our transatlantic television chums? Oh, gee, I'm sure there's going to be a squatch and then they'll fire.
Hi, Bon.
Hi, Ron.
I don't, for a life of me, believe that there is a squatch in that their forest.
But wouldn't woodpeckers make that wood knock kind of noise?
I know what a woodpecker sounds like. For one thing, it's a repeated.
Yeah.
And it was a different pitch. So, again, using Toby as my gallant assistant, I gave him my walking stick. And I said, Toby, can you go up to the tree line and beat 7 bales of shit out of the first tree you find? And then do it again on a tree branch, the first one you could reach. We didn't get any answers back. Well, not really. I heard it and it sounded exactly the same. But I heard it, the wood knock first time, the sound of him enthusiastically beating shit out of a tree. My walking stick sounded pretty much the same. And then he was walking on the way back down and he heard a second wood knock.
Thanks, Sarah.
Right,
Sleep tight. Sweet dreams.
And so we have a complete set of mysteries, none of it solved. But we're going to have to go back to Torquay, and I'm going to ask anybody who wants to be part of a Torquay investigation or part of any investigation, find me on Facebook. I'm quite easy to find. Find Viv on Facebook. And
Find Jonathan.
why?
You can gauge whether they're of sane mind first.
Oh,
I wonder.
off. I'm not sane. I'm
not saying either. So
no,
I've got an inkling of a theory, but it may be just completely too far out there. I don't know. We've got, as you alluded to earlier, we've got the.
Is it what you were saying earlier about them all being back engineered from the Roswell crash?
No. I was kind of alluding to, or you were alluding to earlier on, the sort of the modern brain and the ancient brain, the two connections.
Yeah.
Do you think that these animals and these things that people are experiencing and seeing, do you think that once upon a time they were real and they were indigenous? And do you think that what happens is getting near electromagnetic fields, getting near magnetism and stuff like that, do you think that it maybe triggers off fear within the human psyche that then clicks open a flip book in the old ancient brain that flips through a catalogue of things that used to be there and used to terrify us, and then one gets almost projects it?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not sure about for example, as we're on the subject of the British woodrose, there is no evidence at all for any non-human primates in Britain ever. And I think we would have found fossil records of a giant ape that had been one. That doesn't mean that it couldn't have existed here, but it's not at the top of my list of. Thank you very much, Ned. It's
Ned,
not
only
my list of probabilities.
Ned, can I just say, only if you have slutty aunts.
Yeah, I just wondered if we had a dictionary in our head that we flick through and then automatically we produce this, I suppose, phenomena.
Yeah, I
through
think
our minds.
More like a Freeman's catalogue.
Yeah.
We go through.
Right, Ned wants to know, have you been to the forest that has no trees that will grow in it? Sorry, not sure the name of it. I think you're
one in Romania.
Hollabacha. Is it Hollabacha?
I've been to that one in Romania, yeah.
No, I haven't. I'd like to hear more about it, though. It's like it's something that's always fascinated the hell out of me is the stories that birds even now won't fly over Auschwitz or Belgrade.
That's a lie. I've seen them.
Oh,
I saw them.
You know why they stopped doing it? They stopped doing it because of the chemicals that are in the ground. So nothing would grow there, so therefore no vegetation, no life would go around it.
So I'm doing that because I look like Mr. Majika with a bit of hair sticking up.
Mr. Majika. I remember that very well. He's great, Mr. Majika.
You look delightful, Vivian.
Mr. Majika. Alfalfa.
I can't be Mr. Majika because I'm a woman.
Well,
apparently. Now, in the morning, I wake up like that. There's something like Mary.
Stanley Baxter, wasn't it, Mr. Majika?
I can't remember now.
I think it was Stanley Baxter, yeah. Very good comedian, Scottish comedian.
But anyway, that's why we were doing the magnetic and EMS sweeps of that area. And it's why, I don't know how many of you in the audience are investigators yourselves, but I want all of you who investigate anything, whether it's ghosts, hauntings, poltergeists, UFOs, whatever the fuck it is, I want you please to start. If you haven't got an EMF meter, well, they're quite expensive. Mine cost me about 30 quid. But you can pick up quite a nice, handsome brass compass on eBay for $3.95.
There you go.
if people can, next time you're going on any investigation, please, I'm starting to collect through my assistant, Gwyn. And so I'll probably pass you over to her to give you her your stories. But I want to know.
And if you can,
Sorry?
get a map. And if you have got or you are using EMF meters and you find anomalies, just put them on the map and send them.
Oh, well done, Nico.
So
well done, Ned.
That's brilliant. And the other thing is, there is a new app which is Guinevere. I didn't know you were there. I've just been talking about you.
Yeah, it's been terrible, Gwyn, honestly.
Oh, shut up. Guinevere, don't believe anything that Vivian says because she's really, really unreliable.
I've learned from the best.
Who, me?
I love that name.
Yeah, him sitting that side.
That's side.
I've noticed, Guinevere, my love. I have noticed.
That's funny. It's what Jonathan said about you earlier.
No, she always lurks.
Always lurking.
Gwyn is my assistant, and she doesn't know it yet, but she's going to start collating all the stories we get of magnetic anomalies with whatever phenomena you're investigating.
Yeah.
Anything you can. And there is I know there is an Irish atlas which shows a geological atlas which actually shows where the magnetic iron ore is. But I haven't been able to find one in Britain yet. That doesn't mean one doesn't exist. It just means I'm stupid and I haven't managed to find it.
You're not stupid.
Oh, I am. Ask Guinevere.
No, you might be dumb, but you're not stupid.
I might be what?
Daft, but you're not stupid.
Guinevere. Back me up. I'm stupid, aren't I, baby?
Full strength meter attachment CV. There you go.
Yep.
But anyway, there is that's very useful. There is a thank you, darling. What a lovely girl she is. There is a app which is free that you can get for phones called something like These 3 Words or Take
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I spent ages and then gave up and got Graham to do it, working out how to do GPS on my phone. So we could actually show the exact places. Now, she's got tea. I haven't got tea. Now, it's showing the exact locations of the... That's brilliant. Showing the exact locations of the magnetic anomalies we didn't find. But this Take 3 Words thing has divided up the whole surface of the Earth into meter squares.
Yeah.
Which in people like me who still think in old money, that's about 3 feet. And it gives you 3 totally random words which will identify for rescue teams or whatever, or anybody else trying to find that spot again where you were. And I don't care, within 3 feet is fine by me. Take 3 words or just 3 words or
3 words.
Oh, Gwen's already done it. Gwen's already got it in.
I should put that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Gwen.
I told you, Gwen is absolutely bloody amazing.
She's on the ball, Gwen.
Look, since I became old, I used to be fairly together, but since I've become old and raddled and senile and everything else, I wouldn't be able to do all the stuff I do running the CFZ if it wasn't for Gwen. And although she is battling hard against it, I want her to be director when I finally retire or die. In fact, she's going to be. I'm not going to let her get out of it.
No, don't let her.
No, she is absolutely bloody wonderful.
Is she going to be there at the conference?
I don't think so, but you could all say how much you want.
Yes. Can you pop in, Gwyn, even if it's just for 5 minutes, so we can meet you?
And notice it was her who asked that question, not me, dear. What's that?
What was that?
My kids moaning. Always moaning.
That's what kids do.
Confused now.
Can't keep them
But
happy.
I want you, please, all of you, to start mapping.
She's coming. She's coming.
Good.
Are you?
Oh, there you go.
Good.
Did she say she's coming?
Yeah, she said she's sure she can make it somehow.
I love you, dear. You're wonderful.
I love you too, because she's coming.
Yeah, there's 4 of them. They've had a few hit singles, and they're from Ireland. You have no idea what I'm talking about, have you?
I've lost track of the conversation.
Is it you too?
Yeah, you said you loved you. I love you too, and I said, well, yeah, there's 4.
Oh dear.
Same with me.
I thought the conversation had wandered off in another direction. I wasn't used to it. I thought I'd just go along with this.
No, it was me twatting about again.
Yeah, but Jonathan, I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Oh. Perhaps it's under the Joshua
You ought
tree.
to look where the streets have no name, dear.
Or perhaps it's hidden under the Joshua tree.
Oh dear.
I gotta put money on my card first.
Oh, dear, dear, dear. Did you know that the building that's on either the back cover or the inside cover of the Joshua Tree of the Joshua Tree album is where Graham Parsons died at the Joshua Tree Hotel?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I used to have the album as well. It was an open cover of it, if I remember rightly.
I haven't seen it in years.
No, I haven't.
I've got loads of records. I never played them. I stream everything from my computer on my iPad.
You want to play some of that Devo? I hear they're very good.
They are very good.
They are very good.
If you like that sort of weird stuff.
Well, if you'd
I
like
do like
really
that.
weird.
Right on, Brian.
Well, if you like really weird, and I know you would like it, Jonathan. I know I got Dan into it, but there's being that I'm half Indian and I listen sometimes
it's brilliant
to Bhangra music.
I know you want to say it's absolutely superb.
You want to listen to heavy metal Bhangra? There's a band called Bloody Wood, not Bollywood.
Really good.
Bloody Wood.
Oh, send me a link. I'd
love it. In fact, everybody in the chat, have a look at Bloody Wood on YouTube. Absolutely brilliant.
You played it to me. We got back from an investigation on a Saturday night. I played it to me at 3 a.m. I left about 4 a.m. and I bought it on the way home. So good.
And you did what on the way home?
I bought it on the way home. I pulled over and bought a copy of it. I thought that's too good. I'll forget the name of it. I'm going to dun 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 dun. So I just stuck it in and bought a copy on the way home. It was that good. I was that impressed with it. It's like metal with Indian music in it, isn't it? It's like
well, have you heard the new Kula Shaker album?
No.
Oh, Christ, I love that band anyway. But that's got, there's a couple of tracks on there that have got guest vocals by it's not Bhangra. What's the... It's by a Punjabi singer from... What's the bit of India that's not quite Bangladesh? The bit next to it?
Punjab. The Punjab?
Yeah. Of course, that's why she's Punjabi. Why the hell didn't I guess that? There's a Punjabi singer who is apparently very big on the Indian classical scene. And Christ, she's good. She's the guest singer on a couple of those tracks. You've got to check that album out. It is it's my favourite record of the year, and it's absolutely smashing. And I check out any of their albums because they're all good. But because that's a mixture of sort of heavy rock and Indian, most of their stuff. So, but anyway, we've got completely off the track now. And
I've put it in the chat for people to have a look.
Oh, well done.
There you go.
Somebody.
I have to go do something real quick.
Okay.
What was it I was going to say?
Oh, we missed a good question there from Ned, I think.
Oh, let me
Come
go.
on, ask me.
Jonathan, have you heard of a guy in Australia? Has to do with Doctor Who. Extremely interesting person. His name is Anthony Howell.
No. Tell me about it. Hang on, I'm going to type it in.
If it's modern Doctor Who, you can forget it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. The only Anthony Howe I can find is a sculptor. But yeah, you won't know about Cannock.
Paul Bry.
Back in Cannock.
He's been waiting.
You've been waiting for ages, Bry. So I'm now going to tell you, yes, I have been to Cannock. Yes, I have carried out one of them. I've carried out two investigations there. The first one completely didn't work because there'd been a series of sightings of a wood rose. I remembered not to call it a Bigfoot, in and around the German war cemetery.
Yes.
And so I took my band of merry men. We were up there anyway, looking for a crocodile somebody had let loose in the lake. And we came back by way of Cannock Chase. And I said, stop it, guys, let's go and have a look. We went to the war cemetery with our compasses and our EMF meters and didn't get a bloody thing. Not a soft. But then I had a really, really, really big idea. Have you ever seen the big transmission tower at the top of the highest point of Cannock Chase? Well, it looked like the car that the BBC guy had from Radio 4 program. It's got stuff, it looks like all sorts of things have been shoved on the side willy-nilly without any plan. And I'm thinking all of these things are going to be sending out different frequencies. What I really want to do, but we didn't have time then, and I blush to say it was 20 years ago, and I haven't gone back to do it. I want to go up there with one of Viv's Ordnance Survey maps, and I want to see if we can map whatever the effects are on the ground radiation and magnetism and EMF onto a map, and then try and use that map to see how the see how these what's the bloody word? Thank you for that, Ned. It's very kind of you. How these correlate with sightings of Bigfoot type creatures. I strongly suspect that because the magnetic tower things are all up in the air, I tell you what, Viv, can you do me a favour? Can you see if you can get up a picture of that tower? So you'll see what I mean. They're all up in the air and all pointing in different directions. I suspect that because they're up in the air, they are not going to have any great effect down at ground level.
But Jeff.
What I would like to know is if we can see what direction each of these different satellite dish things, I say satellite dishes, I don't know whether they're satellite dishes, transformer dishes, whatever the hell they are, but map the direction they're all pointing. You'll see in a second if they can find a picture.
Oh, Hang on.
Because you'll see what I mean. It's a complete and utter mishmash.
I'm trying to get a good picture. Hang on, if I get this one.
It's the sort of bodger up the British do best.
Hang on. It's called. Let me just get rid of this one.
I don't know. All right, Jeff. Thanks. Hope you're doing the same.
I don't think he realizes that the Queen has passed on.
But you'll see in a second when Viv gets a picture up, because it's totally Heath Robinson. For those of you who don't know who or what Heath Robinson was, in fact, you have to be even older. You have to be my age probably to know, because when I was a little boy, my grandmother had these books by this guy called Heath Robinson, who drew cartoony sort of drawings, but very intricate, of all sorts of peculiar machines that would never work in a million years. And he published books of these things. And
stuff was together, isn't it?
Hang on, it's looking better than it was.
Well, is that the one, is it?
Is it?
That's at Pie Green.
Ah.
Is that not the one?
Well, if it is, my whole plan, if it is, it's been fixed in the last 20 years, and you haven't got all the things sticking out in various directions.
Oh, they are. Hang on, I'll show you another picture. Hang on, let me just find it. It's just not a very good picture that...
It's not close enough.
Can you see that one?
Same one, same thing.
The Grey Arrows Drone Club.
So that's where they're all in different directions there.
Can't see it, Viv.
Oh, hang on. Oh, sorry. That's why.
Can you close that?
Okay, hang on.
Better close the Grey Arrows drone. Now we have Vivian. But, hang on, now the pictures all got bigger. No, they haven't. I'm amazing. I will admit it there. I did the pinch thing to try and make the picture bigger. And I made the whole picture, including us, more bigger as well.
All right, okay. I know what I'm doing now.
Hello.
Communications tower.
But that's the thing that I really want to do.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, is those like, wires or something coming off of it? Or was that my eyes?
Okay, see the BT tab, the second one along. Can you?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get it bigger. It looks a hell of a lot better than it did 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it looked like something that me and Graham would have built.
Okay, I gotta do something. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You can imagine back in the day when I still smoked dope. If you can imagine putting me in charge of building a telecommunications tower, it would have looked.
I'm just trying to find a picture where you can see them. Oh, here we go. Hang on.
I like it. I like being on this show. Can I come back, Viv?
Oh, absolutely.
What makes you think we're going to let you go?
Well, Viv's going to keep me a prisoner.
Well, I didn't mean to do that.
Right, can you see this now?
Yeah, that's it. You can see that there's all sorts of things, and they go all the way around. And you can see, if you see that, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 12 that I can see on there.
You mean the dishes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll tell you what I've noticed in the last few years. It seems to be an upturn in people's experience of the paranormal, personal experiences, with the event or the advent of 5G.
Really? You think it went up because of that?
No,
I don't know if it's opening up. What it's doing, I don't know.
I think it's because a hell of a lot of the human race now thinks that we're approaching World War III.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at all the history books of British ghosts and things, this was happening in 1938. And it was happening round about the time that King Edward VII died.
Do you think it's a physical phenomena, or do you think it is?
I don't think any of this is physical, or very little of it is.
No.
This is what happens when our brains...
Do you think it's spiritual then?
I think it's our brains are stressed and
yeah.
Because for the last 35 years, young people haven't thought for 35 years that they're in danger of dying in a nuclear holocaust.
No.
My generation did.
Yes,
died in a nuclear holocaust, but we thought that Brezhnev and Reagan were going to destroy the world.
We did. I remember the posters Gone with the Wind, where he was holding capture.
Can I just mention something? And I'm going to pick on Cannock Chase. I did some digging and some research. But there were sightings that were documented by one of the kings and his hunting party that saw the woodwows while he was trying to entertain and take people out hunting in the woods at Cannock Chase. It's just like an area that's shaped like a triangle.
Can you send that to me or Gwyn, please?
I'll have to find it. But this is something that goes back in history.
Oh, yeah.
That the woodwows had been seen there. And none of these towers, 5G, none of the computer things, none of that would have been around.
No, but England was at war regularly, and people had been scared shitless because there was a plague, or there was a war, or there was a famine.
Plus, there's a lot of hermits around them, wasn't there?
Yes, there was.
There were a lot of what?
Hermits.
Yeah.
Not Herman's Hermits or Herman's Hermits.
I like Herman's Hermits, but not Herman's Hermits.
Proper hermits.
The company I work for, I think we put out a Herman's Hermits live album a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Love Herman's Hermits.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I do have gainful employment. I may look like a mad homeless man, as Daniel once said I did.
He's such a confidence builder, that lad.
No, I would say if you had a pointy hat, we could call you Gandalf the Grey.
Yep.
Urban Kermit, Nico, you are gas night.
It's terrible, isn't he?
But,
Gandalf the Grey, that's what you are.
I'm Dandolf.
Goodness, there's nothing I can possibly say to that.
Now, Dan I keep saying to you, Dan, you're not. You're Colonel Sanders.
I haven't even got the freaking moustache.
We'll grow it back.
No, I don't want it back. Because I look like Colonel Sanders.
It's brilliant. You could give out autographs and everything.
Okay, Ned, sorry, what do you mean? In what term? Branding, I've heard all sorts of different...
I think she means centre yourself with the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
ground yourself into reality or what have you, and to just centre yourself with being at one.
Yeah, I have done that. Again, it's like, it was funny when Viv said, I'm not mad. I am mad. I'm bipolar. I'm bipolar and schizoform, and this far away from being paranoid schizophrenic. Which is why I don't really trust any of the visions I've had, even though I've written them down, unless somebody else was there at the same time. But
Dan won't give in to anyone. Can I just say, when you're grounding, though, because I do it all the time in my mediumship, all that is doing is keeping my feet firmly on the earth, so I'm not up there and floating around and making myself sick. because that's all
Connecting
it will do.
yourself, isn't it? It's
It's
roots
just
from the feet to the ground, isn't it?
rooting you to the earth, so you're not going to fly around. And I could shoot off to Australia and go and visit you, Ned, in your front room with you. Like what they call it, astral travelling. It just
Come on, travel over here.
Hide the biscuits, though, Ned. Hide the biscuits if she turns up.
I like being his wells.
There you go.
Don't we all, dear?
Yeah, I'll bring some with me with that banana cake, banana bread.
But it'll be ether, though, won't it? It'll be no good. It'll be ethereal banana bread and ethereal worlds.
No, I'm actually going to bring them to the conference.
There's no calories in that, I suppose.
No, I'm going to bring them to the conference, and I'm going to make some gingerbread woodwoes.
Whoa!
I'm going to try.
That's a brilliant idea.
But can I just say, anyone that's going to the conference in 2 weeks in Bridgewater will see Jonathon doing his lecture.
Yes.
So that is going to be very, very interesting. I'm going to sit in and listen.
But I've got no idea what I'm going to talk about yet.
Or just start at the end and finish at the beginning. That'll confuse people.
Look, there are two ways of giving talks in public. One is you write down what you need to do, and you have it maybe on little cards to remind you of the thing. And the other way is you go up on stage and make it up as you go along, which is basically what I do.
That's brilliant.
Well, it's what I do here. I mean, everything I've told you is true from my perspective.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what I was going to be talking about tonight. I just did it because you asked the question.
Do you know, I only listened to 2 talks last year, and that was yours and Mr. Freeman's.
The boy Freeman.
And they were the only 2 that I listened to. I started to listen to the paranormal group, and then when they started talking about a certain aspect, I had to turn my back and walk out of the auditorium because my face would have given it away.
What was it? What was don't tell me the group, but what was they talking about? What were they talking about?
Orbs.
Oh, God.
Yes. So I had to walk away. I thought, keep a straight face, don't look at them, don't make eye contact, just walk out.
Do you know what? I think I'm getting to the point now where I want to go to some of these paranormal, whatever you call them, paracons and what have you, and just sit in the audience when they're all doing a talk and just sit there shouting bollocks, rubbish, nonsense. Yeah. Tell us another one. Line.
You're going to get us thrown out. You'll get us thrown out.
And the problem with that, Dan, is I'd end up joining you at the same time, and we'd both get thrown out.
They wouldn't throw us out because we would glue ourselves to the floor.
There you go.
Oh, for God's sake. Who are these people? Guinevere, rescue me.
They're not Just Stop Oil. They're called Just Stop Orbs.
Just Stop Orbs. Just stop all the bollocks.
Oh, I don't know.
Love orbs.
You just can't, can you? You just
no.
There's just not.
I mean, I'm a scientist. I use the scientific method, which is come up with a hypothesis, test it. Yep. Then, once you have got some more evidence, refine your hypothesis. Then test the fuck out of it till finally got something that's as near proved as can be. Then write it up and publish it so everybody else can read it in a journal.
Yeah.
The fact that a lot of what I deal with is basically Guinevere. It wasn't dust when the woman took pictures of me and said how incredibly cosmic I must have been because I had orbs around me. I said, baby, I've got dandruff.
Look, right.
Do you know what? I think it's always good if you can write up your not experience, whether it's a ghost hunt, whether it's cryptid, whether it's a walk along the beach, whatever. Write it up. If you can put history, brilliant. If you can't, doesn't matter. But start off with your equipment, your practical, your method, your practical, and your conclusion, and keep going back and revisiting it. And nobody does that anymore.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No.
No, and I am a scientist, and I will continue to be a scientist. And anybody who tells me there's any other way of doing it apart from the scientific method, which I believe was first thought of, or the beginnings of it, by, I think it was Aristotle, 2,500 years ago.
Yeah.
Anybody who says that which has guided the human race for 2.5 centuries isn't the way to do it can go and fuck off.
Yeah.
I have people saying you shouldn't believe in science, it's superstition. Fuck off.
I know.
But people really can be stupid.
But you know what? We had, just where I live, we have some of the world's greatest scientists that were giving lectures and studying and trying to still prove or disprove. And I was lucky enough to see, nearly get run over by Stephen Hawking, who
what, in his wheelchair?
Yeah, he was a bastard. What he used to do is he'd see a group of people, or in my instance, he saw me walking, and I was walking in the road because there was no cars. Walking in the road to stay away from all the hustle and bustle of people on the actual pavements. And he made a beeline for me because I was busy chatting to Andy. And had Andy not grabbed me and pulled me quickly, he would have run me over in his wheelchair. Wow. And apparently it's a standing joke. He did that to the students up there in Cambridge. You'd see a group of them all in a circle chatting, and he'd make a beeline for them and go straight through the middle of them. But
let's be honest, you would though, wouldn't you?
Of course.
but the thing is, he was working and he had the
right
theory.
on, Brian. I agree totally.
Yeah,
totally.
But he would talk about the wormholes and time travel and how it has been proven that it does exist. Only the wormholes were too small for us to use in this lifetime. And I sat and listened to that man's words. And I'm thinking, do you know, there is something in this and he was talking about dark matter, that they were looking into dark matter, and what was it? It's everywhere, but they didn't know what it was, or they just started their studies into dark matter.
They knew it was everywhere. They didn't know how to measure it or find it. No, the universe. This is the main reason I stopped taking drugs. A long time. I stopped.
Couldn't afford them.
No, shut up, you horrible woman. I stopped taking drugs big time when I realized that the world was so weird. You didn't need drugs.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very true.
That's certainly the reason I've not done acid since. And in the last 20 years, I used to smoke dope occasionally when my mates came around. Then when I stopped smoking cigarettes, I stopped smoking spliffs as well. So
yeah,
I'm totally clean these days. The universe is so strange. What we think of as reality is such a complete fallacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you don't need to piss about with chemicals to explore it.
The reality is just a concept, isn't it, really?
Do you think, here's a question, do you think the chemicals we are already taking and not really know about it? The governments are pumping into our rivers, so we're taking it by the way of water or in our foods, that we are being fed all this shit that really we shouldn't have in the first place, which could in actual fact affect our psyche.
Well, we're cattle, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
You might think that, my dears. I could not possibly comment.
Okay.
We're cattle, aren't we, really?
We are.
And what do you do with cattle? What do you do with livestock? You just keep it dumbed down, don't you? You keep it moving and you keep it there for a purpose. And once the purpose is finished, it goes, doesn't it? And we're no different.
And in the air, yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
I've got a T-shirt that annoyed the hell out of some of my American friends because it was a Star of Stripes made out of rifles as the stripes and hand grenades as the stars.
As the stars.
Yeah.
And underneath it said, "Nation of sheep, owned by pigs, ruled by wolves."
Yeah.
And I stand.
Yeah.
But you say the same about us.
I don't know. Can't do anything these days.
Oh, it's one thing being a sheep, but it's another thing knowing you're it.
Yeah.
And that's,
Well, so long as you're not mutton dressed as lamb, I'm sure it'd be all right.
Well, yeah, it's one thing being sheep, but it's another thing working in the mint sauce factory.
Well, exactly. Well, apparently you can end up with a bad heart. You end up with a dodgy chicken ticker.
God.
Oh, for God's sake! Dan, you're in
And then if you die, you come back as a poltergeist.
Don't, because he'll get his chicken suit out in a minute.
11 herbs and spices.
11 herbs and spices.
Yeah, you're right.
Chicken.
He is, what's his name?
Or something.
Fried chicken guy. Colonel
Yeah, exactly. KFC, Colonel Sanders.
Yep.
No, in fact, you look more like Captain Beefheart. What do you do?
I'll take that as a compliment, actually.
Oh, dear.
I was listening to Captain Beefheart this morning.
Captain Beefheart.
What's the matter, dear?
What's happening?
I don't know. She's yelling at something.
I was reading
been told
Bryce.
off.
Waders are selling well. Has Von.
No, I think Dan wishes he's more like Captain Flashheart rather than Captain Beefheart.
It'd be great to be Captain Flashheart. But Captain Beefheart, I'll take it. I'll take it.
No, that's what she was saying.
We're doing it over here, to be honest with you, Ned.
We are being nice.
We're always nice. We love each other very much. All four of
We
us.
call it the way of the weird.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's tomorrow.
That is tomorrow.
What's happening? Oh, God, yes.
Dan,
It's
that's
going to be the greatest spectator sport.
This guy right here you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does, doesn't he?
No.
I think so.
I think he does.
I think I do. Right, you lovely lot. I'm going to have to make a move because it's coming up to 10 o'clock and the kids need to go.
Is it nearly 10 o'clock? Blimey.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
it's
because you turn up until halfway through the show.
I know. We had to juggle it, didn't we?
Oh, it's 4
Yeah,
minutes.
we have to keep it
4 minutes. Listen, you two. We're going to have to get
How many people are watching, by the way?
12.
12 now.
I'm quite pleased with this.
Well, you got to come. Well, you're a regular now, so
You've got to come on. You've got to come on again in a couple of weeks and do this
Yeah,
all over again with us,
exactly.
Jonathan.
Exactly.
Just wait till you have Freeman on with me.
Yes.
We've got to do that.
Shall we bring him on?
Yeah, not now, but
Well done, Ned.
We'll get him on before he flies off to wherever he flies off to soon
Charles.
to do his.
next one's going to be Sumatra again. But
Oh, lovely.
I've actually got him with me at the weekend, so
Have you?
he's coming up here to do some filming because we've got a couple of shows to do,
Yeah.
and I've got to film some promos for his new book, which we will publicise, which will be on sale at Daniel's conference.
Oh,
Oh, is
good.
it?
It's called The Highest Strangeness, and it's a collection of the weirdest and most totally out there and fucked up Fortean stories you could think of.
Oh,
Is he going to
sounds
be
good.
there at the conference?
I believe so.
Okay, I might
He's
get
not
one.
speaking, but I believe he's going to be there.
Yeah, we'll get him and we'll tell him he's coming on our show and we'll lock him down.
with Jonathan, him and Jonathan, yeah.
Yeah. We won't ask him. We'll just tell him.
Oh,
Yeah, Jonathan says you've got to
Richard
come
and I
on.
yeah, Richard and I are really...
Good one, Ned.
Well done, Ned. Me and Richard are just a funny double act.
Good.
On her deathbed, my wife she said she didn't want a vicar. My brother's a vicar, by the way, but she didn't want a vicar taking her funeral. She wanted me and Richard doing it. So me and Richard took my wife's funeral.
Oh, wow. Well, that's lovely.
That's nice.
It was an incredible piece of closure. I wouldn't have changed that for the world. So Richard and I are sort of available for weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs.
Bar mitzvahs. Right, you lovely lot. I'm ever so sorry. I'm going to have to make a move, and I will speak to you all later.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
in the chat.
Bye,
Thank you all for coming.
Bye, Eric. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thank you
everyone.
for joining us.
Bye.